date.
Skate date?
Skate date.
Funny thing is, we went on a...
Date.
50% skate date? I skated a little bit.
I took pictures. So it was kind of a skate date.
A week away.
Yeah, just one short 7-day week.
And then?
Skating on dates again.
Ooh, I can't wait.
I mean, like, probably skating not on dates first. Probably just skating, like, in little areas first. And then I will begin skating on dates.
I finally look cute again. Because we were on a date. We celebrated our anniversary a little early. And we had a little picnic on the bluffs here in Long Beach. And it was beautiful. It was 91 degrees today.
It was perfect weather.
It was so crowded. So we had to we got stuck in traffic on Ocean. But we found a really nice spot where it was pretty secluded, which was nice. But then really annoyingly, people would walk close to our blanket, just to walk. And it's you have all the space. You have to walk by us.
There was so much room. And people were walking right next to us.
So
and I was
annoying.
just like, wow.
I'm so glad we didn't bring Bowie because there were so many dogs.
And a lot of them off leash.
Yeah, and Bowie would have with his broken piano teeth tried to bite one.
And we just don't need that kind of drama in our lives.
Don't need it. We got enough drama.
Yeah.
But yeah, so happy anniversary, babe.
Thank you, baby. Hey, what's Skate Date?
Skate Date is a podcast.
Made by two little roller skaters who fell in love.
And then out of love. Just kidding.
No. They stayed in love and they went on lots of skate dates and they lived happily ever after.
And then Chev was like, we should have a podcast.
And then Rebel was like, hell yeah.
And then I was like, oh no, what did I do? And now we're here.
Yep.
We talk about what's going on in the real world
and the real world.
And the real world. Skirt, skirt, skirt.
And we take your Find Your Skate dates and we take your Dear Shovel questions.
Yeah, and I am Courtney Shove.
And I'm Rebel Rouser.
And together we are...
Shovel.
Can you dig it?
I can. Even though I don't have a physical shovel. I don't actually own a shovel.
You have a shovel necklace.
I could dig it using a spoon, which is the only way we can do it via emoji, because there's no shovel emoji. Apple, what the hell?
Hey, babe, did I give you your shovel necklace didn't you make me have a 6-month anniversary? And that's when I give you the shovel pendant?
Yep.
And I was like, what is this, high school? We're celebrating months?
I said 1 month. Do we celebrate 1 month?
Yeah, you gave me a shovel.
On 1 month, yeah. I was like 1 month, 6 months, and then years from there out.
Yeah, she decorated a garden shovel that was already had flowers on it. It was a fancy shovel, and then she bedazzled it, put ribbon, and then she took a Sharpie and wrote our anniversary date.
Yes, I did.
And it's now in a memory chest in the living room.
It's cute.
And now I have replaced her Rebel necklace, white gold, that 14 karat that got stolen.
Out of my car last year before?
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Almost. And so finally replaced that. And then it was funny because she also gave me a
shove necklace.
A plate necklace that says Shove. And it's just as beautiful.
It's just a little bit smaller and a little bit of silver.
It's not a
gold.
precious metal, but it's a metal, and all that matters is that I love it. But what's even cooler is I got this amazing ring. Sorry, don't get excited. We're not engaged. But an amazing ring.
Wait, tell them about the ring.
The ring is a garnet stone, and it's meaningful because my parents were broke and addicted to drugs and alcohol, and my grandma passed down a really important garnet ring to my mother, who obviously was under the influence at the time and pawned it. And it was supposed to be very special because this was my grandma's partner, because my grandma was a lesbian when she was alive. And so queerness is all in my family. But anyways, my mom pawned it, couldn't get it out, so she lost it and always felt guilty because she was supposed to hand it down to me. One day she bought a new garnet ring and it was frankly hideous. And she gave it to me and I still have it, but I just don't like to wear it. So Rebel finally gave me one that's pretty. So yay.
Yay. So that's that.
What are we talking about today?
So today we're talking about by Erasure. And we're also going to talk about skating and posting and do we have to do it? I don't know. How do we feel about it? Interesting.
Yeah.
So before we jump into that though, we have a little Addy Daddy Dad little daddy's zaddy dad ad for
Zaddy?
you. Addy ad.
Zaddy, is that you?
Yes. So let's go with this addy addy ad. Addy 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 ad. Hey, have you heard of this little shop called Project Pinup?
Oh, have I? They actually make my patches.
What? They also make my patches and my earrings. They are incredible.
Yeah, they also made my amazing Beetlejuice skate leash that I was using today.
They made me an ice cream skate leash, and I absolutely love it.
Oh my gosh. They also made you the sky print ones. They're like a master of skate leashes and skate charms and pinup accessories.
Earrings and flowers and necklaces. Oh
Yeah.
my.
Yeah, a family of skaters that are all amazing people in Arizona. And I love buying things from creators, especially made in America.
Yeah, and did you know that Project Pinup is married to the owner of Nothing Boards, a skateboard company?
Did you know that Project Pinup, aka Heather, also has witchy goodies under Black
Coletta?
Coletta? Crystals galore!
I heard a rumor that Black Coletta had some of the best crystals on the internet.
And bath salts, and I am a hoe for taking baths.
Yeah, and what if you took a bath with the bath salts and some of the crystals surrounding you?
That'd be amazing. I do that, and I could always use more.
And then you could hang up some towels using your skate leash, and then you could wear some earrings.
And then when I get out of the bath, I put a pretty flower in my hair that Project Pinup made by hand.
Oh my god, and then you could like burn some sage or some, I don't know what else they have, but
They have everything.
Palo Santo, you could burn that
Project
too.
Pinup galore.
Go to Project Pinup, use code SKATEDATE because
You get 10% off.
you get 10% off, and like, not gonna lie, you're gonna freaking love it, so just go do it. Wow, that was so excellently timed.
Wow, amazing.
Amazing. I love Project Pinup. I could easily spend all my money there. All right, well, let's jump right on into the real world, shall we?
I'm scared.
Why? Because of jumping? For those of you who aren't watching the video, Shove was just popping up her boobies.
Pop, lock, and drop it. Okay,
Pop it,
so
lock it, drop it.
So, buy Erasure.
Buy Erasure. What's
Bye-bye,
a
Erasure.
buy? What's a buy?
A buy is two.
What's
a buy is a buy away.
What do we mean when we say, oh, that person is bi?
That they go both ways. They play on both teams. They are not strictly dickly. They are not strictly clitly.
They love them all. Yes, yes.
I feel like no one takes anyone serious who's bi.
And so that's basically what bi erasure is. So bi erasure is when people just ignore the fact that people are bi and will like call them lesbians or call them gay or call them anything except for bi.
Questioning or the whole joke like, I don't know if alcohol, every girl's a little bi, like.
Or like, oh, I don't know, how do you trust your partner when they can be interested in anyone? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like women, like lesbians, will have that reaction, and men have the other one where they are like, oh yeah, make out with a chick that's hot, or threesome. Like, they don't realize that, like, I had to have this conversation with, like, my first serious boyfriend after high school, and I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, I could leave you for that woman. Like, I could fall in love and leave you because I'm in love with another person, just like with a guy. Like, it's not just like, now it's hot because it's a girl, because like that girl could just steal me from you, so you should still be scared. And I think like guys don't really understand that.
definitely my ex-boyfriend was fine with me making out and doing all sorts of things with women because he didn't think it was serious.
Well, a big part of the problem of why people have that stereotype that bis aren't really gay, or like that they're not like also, let me go back. A big part of the problem of why people think that, like, when, like, they say they're bi, that they're not bi, is because a lot of people that are gay or lesbian have that, like, struggle with identifying that way. So they're like, I'm just bi, because they're afraid to, like, delve in. And I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, no, you just don't know you're a lesbian yet. Or, like, you just don't know you're gay yet. Like, you're not bi, you're 100% gay. You just don't realize it yet.
I definitely agree with that, because I definitely had a period where I thought I was bi and just, like, straight up was just in denial that I was a lesbian. Like, I kind of had to go through that process, though. Like, I had to be like, okay, I'm bi, and, like, be okay with that, and then be like, oh, just kidding, like, I'm actually not interested in men at all. I have no interest in men. I am not bi. I am a lesbian. And, like, I had to go through that process, but just because I go through that process doesn't disqualify the experience of bi people at all. But, like, I definitely struggled with that, because I think it's, like, an internalized, I don't know if it's
a way to hold on to your straightness
fear,
in a way.
or, yeah, it's like a fear of being fully queer. It's a fear of, I don't know, like, I know that I for sure was scared when I was like, I'm a lesbian. I was scared that, like, I wasn't really a lesbian, but, like, that I just thought I was. And so I needed to, like, continue to identify as bi, because what if, like, I met a man and then I was like, I'm in love with this man, you know?
My friend used to always say, like, my older mate, Ash, she is a lesbian, Golden Star, which means she's never been with a man. One time she got drunk and she was like, you're so lucky because, like, I really want kids one day, and you're bi, so you could have that chance. Like, you could just decide to be with a man and have children easily, and it's not a big deal, and, like, I have to worry about all these things. And in my head, I was like, I'm not gonna, like, just choose to be with someone because, like, oh, he's a man, so I'm gonna do that because I want a kid. Like, I'm gonna follow my heart and what I want at the time. So it felt kind of odd, like, hearing that. Like, I got where she was coming from, but I was like, what?
Yeah, I definitely think that a lot of lesbians, and, like, this is literally just speaking from my own experience, this is not speaking for anyone else, but I think that we, like, fundamentally just, like, don't get it. And so we tend to be a big culprit of bi erasure, because we're like, oh no, like, our experience makes so much sense to us that we can't understand another person's experience, which is just, you know, a thing we have to work through and get better at.
Yeah, I was afraid to tell my dad that I was bi, even though I remember I came out to my mom when I was dating this girl in high school, and she kind of just changed the subject and was like, whatever about it. But I remember my dad always making jokes, like, even though his sister's a lesbian and then my mom's a lesbian, like, he would always be like, you can be gay, like, I don't care, like, but bisexuals, like, they're just sluts, like, they just want to sleep with anyone, like, they don't care. And, like, first of all, that's not slut shame.
That's, like,
second,
yeah, so
that's more
problematic.
like, you're talking about pansexuals, because pans will have sex with everyone. That doesn't matter what kind of, like, gender, non-gender you are. But, like, what? And I just remember being like, I don't want to say anything because I don't want my dad to think, like, blah, blah. Because, you know, I was, like, 16, 17 at the time. But I think that's always, like, it, too. Like, oh, you just want it all. Like, you just can't decide what you want.
I just think that that's such, like, a fallacy. Like, that whole statement, that whole concept is, like, such a lie. Like, oh, you're, like, greedy because you want to have sex with everyone. It's like, I can be a lesbian and want to have sex with, like, every woman. Like, that would make me greedy. Like, what? I don't understand. Like, a bi person doesn't automatically want to have sex with every man and woman in the world. What?
Yeah. For me, I feel like, going back to, like, what you're talking about, like, people that are like, I'm 100% gay or 100% a lesbian. For me, I can't fathom any single person in this room or listening to this, watching this now, that is 100% straight. Like, that just, or gay. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, there's a whole spectrum, and oh my God, what is it called? It has a name. There is a spectrum. They did all these studies on it. The Kinsey scale. And I am a firm believer of it, that there's no way people are like, I am 100% straight, I'm 100% gay. I just feel like there's at least, you're somewhere on there. You're somewhere a little...
I feel like the Kinsey scale, like the extremes on both ends exist for a reason. Like, there wouldn't be a Kinsey scale with an end on one side and an end on the other side if there wasn't at least one person on the end on either end. Do you know what I mean? That makes it a scale.
I know. I just always believe, like, no, there's, like, either there's something that's keeping you from that. It's weird. But that's because Could it
be that penises are disgusting?
I'm just too spiritual, I think, to believe, like, that we're going to sit here and let, like, someone's body stop us from, like, that our attraction can only be by the physical. That's so hard for me to believe in, and that's why I struggle with thinking that, like, someone would 100% not fall in love and be attracted to someone based on, like, the body parts they have. And I think that's where I struggle, is because, and I know you're like, you have that face, but, and that's why I have this, and that's why, like, after a long time, like, I switched to just saying I was queer, because I hate, like, at the end of the day, I think labels are stupid, and I think sexuality is, like, fluid, and it has so many different layers, and we always want to, like, I get that identifying is, like, such a huge thing, and I love having an umbrella term queer, because I don't think it's as easy as being bi or being pan or being a lesbian or being gay. Like, I think it's bigger than all that.
I think that I can 100% tell you that I am not turned on by male body parts. And so that makes me a lesbian. Like, straight up, like, a man cannot turn me on. And if he begins to turn me on, if I see his body parts or am near his body parts, I immediately get turned off.
Oh, this is a good part to talk about how one of the first times I felt like I experienced bi erasure by Rebel. Actually, it happened early on. It happened on our, like, first date. Rebel had word vomit and was talking about how she got really nervous about our first date, so that she started looking up all this stuff about, like, if someone's really gay, like, if they just got out of a relationship with a man, all this stuff. And, like, that also was, like, what? Like, just the fact that I asked you on a date, like, you had to question, like, you were already questioning if I was, like, queer even before our first date. And then it went into, we were outside the art theater, and I was like, this is like, what, a month or two in, and I said, what was I calling it? Oh, I was like, yeah, it's crazy, like, male's bodies, like, looking at a man's body, and everyone was like, ooh, I'm turned on, like, something about the physical man's body, but I can look at a woman's body, and I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful, it's so sexy. Like, it's just, like, so many things, the curves, and, like, something about a naked woman walking around versus a man is completely different. And she was like, oh, you're definitely a lesbian, then you're not bi, like, blah, blah. And she just said it so matter-of-factly. I was like, don't say that, like, I'm bi. Like, you can't just say, like, just because of that one thing, like, oh, that makes me not bi. Like, oh, you don't like men then. It's like, oh, and then, like, I think I aggressively even, like, was like, oh, I'm pretty sure if I sucked a dick that I'm not 100% a lesbian then. And, like, all these things, and it just felt like, oh, I was questioned. And then, like, maybe a year later, you had said, like, oh, you're pan, like, well, I just think you're pan or something, and you just said it matter-of-factly again. And that's another reason why I'm like, don't try to assign a label to me based on the information you have, because no one knows. Like, even though we're in love, like, you can't just say, like, oh, you're this or you're that, which is another reason why I hate the labels at the end of the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I apologize for that, by the way.
She did.
Without prompting. Yeah, that was messed up of me. And I think that I was also, like, in a space where I was struggling with my own sexuality as well. And so I think I was projecting it onto you, you know? Like, I was struggling with who I was, and I wasn't out yet. And I think that we tend to do a lot of harmful things when we're not allowed to be who we are, and then we, instead of, like, turn and look into ourselves and, like, why we're not, you know, being true to ourselves, I think we tend to lash out and be really harmful to other people.
Yeah, and also this conversation can't be had at all without talking that 200% worse is for a man to be bisexual. A man that says he's bisexual, is often not respected by straight women, not respected by gay men. Like, they just have it so hard because women will laugh and be like, you're just gay. They don't trust them. There's a huge distrust, like even worse than like lesbians dating a bi, that like, oh, you're gonna like leave me for a man. Like, a lot of women like have that insecurity because they're already like, no, you're just gay. And I feel like gay or bisexual men like struggle more than anyone else.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, and it's really sad because like men are held to either be like, oh no, you need to be flamboyant and gay, like the stereotypical gay character, or you have to be super machismo, like macho guy and super straight, and there's no like right in the middle of that.
Yeah, no, totally. I 100% think that it is harder for bi men. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I feel like sexuality is a huge thing. It's a journey that people have to go on. I think it goes often like we struggle knowing what we are. Like, as I said before, like I was very privileged to just grow up and always just be like, okay, everyone just loves anyone. It doesn't matter. Like, and then just feeling what I felt about like different people my whole life. Like, knowing that like, oh, I'm attracted to this girl, it's in its hormones, and then I was attracted to this boy, and it didn't matter. I never had that like, wait, how could I like a boy and a girl? Like, it just was. And then I learned what it was, and then I learned that it wasn't, air quotes, normal, or the like, majority way that people live their lives. But for me, it was like no big deal. And then some people grow up thinking they're straight their whole time, and then they think, oh, maybe I'm just bi. And then like they might stay bi and be like, yep, this is me, or they're pan, or they're gay, lesbian. You don't know. It's a huge community that has different identities.
Yeah, and I definitely think that I wish that all kids grew up the way that you grew up.
Yeah.
And viewed sexuality that way, because I think that that would be so much better of a world to live in, to be just like not stuck in that like binary that we're constantly stuck within, like the gender binary is just total social construct, and sexuality I feel like is stuck in this binary as well. Like, and I don't know. I think it's annoying. Why do you think that bi erasure happens?
Because everything in the world has to be so black and white. It's either this or that. Like, no one believes that you can have your cake and eat it too. It's like, no, you either are attracted to a male body or you're attracted to a female body. And then even then, it's like you're making everything, like you said, so binary. And it's all like, and that's when it gets tricky, because it's like, body parts are body parts, but genders are genders, you know what I mean? And there's this whole thing, and then it goes back to where I'm just like, why? Like, I don't know, it sucks. I have to be like, why does it matter? But like, me saying that is so crazy to a big chunk of the queer community. For me to just sit here and be like, you should be with whoever you want, and who cares about the body, is like you feel like, no, that's like disgusting. I would never do that. And for me, it's like, I don't get it. Like, why not? And I think that's just like, it's just too complicated, and it's just like people struggle with things that are out of the box, that are out of that cookie cutter of like, this is what a gay person is supposed to be.
I don't think that it's so crazy, and like, no, I think that that's a great concept and a great way to live your life. And I would be open to the fact that like, I would be open to date whoever I wanted to, or whoever I fell in love with. But I think that I would have a really hard problem being like, I'm never going to enjoy sex ever in my romantic relationship.
No, but that's what's different. Like, people that feel like the way I do feel sexually pleased.
Yeah, I know, but that's what makes you bi as opposed to like a lesbian.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. Like,
but that's why I'm saying that like not everyone could be you.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
So I'm saying that's why, like what you were saying earlier about the Kinsey scale and about how everyone falls somewhere on it. Yeah. I'm saying that's like why that's true for, I think, a lot of people. I do think a lot of people are probably just a little bit queer, like I think a lot of lesbians would say like, oh, maybe I am attracted to men sometimes, or don't mind about body parts, but I would say that there are people that actually do fall on that side.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that's what I'm making.
I take it back. Yeah, there's probably like, I get it. Like, I guess I get it. It's just like I struggle, like the way like people that are 100% like, I'm a lesbian, I'm gay, like struggle with people that are bi. I struggle being like, how are you 100% straight, gay, or lesbian? So
yeah, I would just say that
ways.
like I definitely have had sex with men before, and I've never been like, that was fun. Like, never. Not a single time. And so I think that, like, that says something.
Yeah.
Disagree.
All
whatever.
I'm saying is someone tells you I'm bi, one, don't be like, oh, I can't date you if you're bi. I don't trust you or you're confused. Because that's not
bullshit.
What it is. Like, that's just so freaking rude and immature, and just get it together. Like, everyone's journey is different. Everyone's sexuality is different. And you can't just, like, think it's a joke when people say it's bi. Like, respect it, just like people respect your sexuality.
I think that we should just, I mean, that's honestly why I started calling myself queer, and, like, I'm like, queer girl, straight skates, and stuff like that, too, is, like, I mean, I like the idea of not compartmentalizing us into, like, lesbian, bi, gay, like...
And I'm sorry, like, again, like, later on we need to have a whole episode about each letter we keep adding, because I know that's a heated argument that a lot of people will be pissed off again, but we need to talk about how sometimes that can do more harm than good, and we just keep on adding labels, and now I'm freaking queer, and I can't even remember everything in it and say it.
Yeah, it's frustrating because at some point, like, the inclusivity of, like, including a letter for each, like, group under the queer community is exclusive. Like,
yeah,
like, it's just, why not just call us something that doesn't include an acronym?
Yep.
Like, why do we need letters for each group involved like that? And then it's just kind of like, you know, it's another episode.
It's a whole thing.
It's another episode.
But, you know, just write in or comment if you want us to discuss it more. We'll do some research on it.
We got a lot of...
Just let us know.
I read a whole grad level paper about that and thought, oof. Anyways,
bye talk.
Bye Erasure. Bye Erasure is trash. Don't do it.
Let's go into the real world.
The wheel world.
The wheel world.
What are we talking about in the wheel world?
I don't know, babe.
Oh my gosh.
We're talking about how you shouldn't just be skating to post or feeling the need to post every single day. Especially if you're doing 365 and you're not trying to do 365 because you want to win a prize.
Yeah.
Which, I get it, like... I know, but you know what? Actually, I know there's a lot of people that are trying to skate every day this year, honestly, just because they want to push themselves, because that's why I'm doing it, and they just want to see, like, challenge accepted. And they don't care about, like, if they get randomly chosen to win Moxie Skate Daily and get a prize. And then there's people that are doing it because they're like, eyes on the prize, I get a chance, I might win something, which is cool, too. But... yeah, you have that pressure to post every day if you are trying to win. But we're talking about people that, like, feel like they have to prove something to the world that they actually skated every day instead of skating every day because they're doing it for themselves, and just the pressure in general to post.
Yeah, I think that it is a weird world in which we live in because obviously, like, none of us are really in person. Like, yeah, that's gonna go back soon, but, like, it's weird. I definitely understand this, like, pressure to, like, post something about skating every day. I think that it is an interesting pressure that now exists. Like, you know, you have to post to stay relevant, and you have to post skating content to stay interesting, and, like, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, like, I just recently, because I'm doing 365 this year, and I started just, like, being like, I don't want to post this. Like, it's a shitty clip. Like, the quality's bad. This is what made me quit last time, and I think it's because I felt like I have to post every day, blah, 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 blah. And so, like, I quit because I felt, like, pressured to post and pressured, like, I had to skate. And then all my content was, like, so crappy. Like, it wasn't even, like, quality stuff because it was like, I guess I'm gonna skate and record my feet in my living room or in my kitchen, which, like, yeah, that's valid as a post, but like I'd rather have like posts that like are aesthetically pleasing or something I'm proud of, or like I felt really cute and powerful that day, and you could tell I was skating because I wanted to. And like, yeah, I'm still, let me be real, I'm still like skating like in my kitchen, in my garage, and it's like this is nothing, but it's just like to make sure I put my skates on. But I don't feel the need to like add that to my feed. Like, I'm just proud that I skated personally. So there might be gaps like where it's like you didn't see me post for 2 days or 3 days, but then when I do, like I have the correct day because I still skated on those days I didn't post. And since I started doing that, it made me feel more like, oh, this is nice. Like, I don't have to skate for the gram. I'm skating for me.
Yeah, which is like honestly the whole point of skating. Like, we're not skating for like social media. We're skating because of the feelings that it gives us. And what really shocked me was that, who were you talking to? You were talking to someone, I don't remember. Okay, I don't know where this story came from, but it's really stuck in my head. I know for sure you had something involved with it. But someone told me that they were talking to someone who wasn't really a skater. They were a model, and the model said, oh, so where do you go to perform? Like, do you go to the skate park to perform?
Yeah,
What's that story?
So I was at a photo shoot for a thing that I can't wait to tell y'all about. It's been a month full of like awesome gigs. But anyway, so me and some friends got added onto this shoot for this other company, and we're there, and there were some legit models, and then there were some real skaters. And we had to put some skates on some models and be like, okay, like we still should have real skaters because that's always like what we want. And so we all collabed together, and we're in the trailer and we're just like waiting it out. And this gorgeous model, like typical, like, you're a model, I get it, like, get out of my face. Like, but she was beautiful. And she was just like talking about this collab, and she was like, oh my God, like, you must be so proud, and like all this stuff. And then they're like, oh, so where do you perform? Talking about roller skating. And like Esther was like, what? And then I was like, oh, like, you mean skate? Like, oh, you know, like skate parks, like that's Venice skate park, like the skate park right there. And they're like, oh, you perform at skate parks? And I was like, no, like we just skate. It's not performing. Like, we're not like in the circus. Like,
But I think that that's a really good story that like exemplifies what I think a lot of people think about skating right now. Is a lot of people think about skating as something you do for likes, or something you do to get famous.
Like, it's content creating.
Yeah.
Like, skating is content creating.
And that's not real. Like, skating is skating. Like, skating has so much joy and everything. And like, if I don't get a clip, but I'm skating, it's like, hell yeah, I had a great time skating. Like, it's not centered around content creation.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because literally, like, when we came home and before we came out to this garage, I saw that Neon Keon posted on their story, and they were like, oh my God, I had the best skating day today. Like, it was so good. I didn't get any clips. I didn't record. I went to Venice. The like old skaters were there, new skaters, and we were going hard, and it was hot, and it was like so amazing. My knees hurt, and like my phone was, I don't even know where my phone was, and it was like just such a good skate day for the first time in a long time. And I remember thinking, like, that's what it's like a lot of times. Like, when you have friends over and we're like skating and we're like having a good time, and you're at a rollout, and you're just like, no one's like, let me record this clip or trying to learn this. Like, it's just like, sometimes we don't even take selfies together. We're literally just living in the moment, and those are the best skate sessions. Not the ones that you literally just record during the time of that clip, and then you just go take your skates off, edit it, and you're like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah, some of the best advice I got from someone who I don't like very much, but they gave me really good advice, is when I started YouTube, they said, Rebel, just make sure that not every time you go skating, you're making an episode out of it. And that is so real, because you get to a point, like for me, I have to come up with a new episode every week. And so a lot of times it feels like, oh, anytime I'm skating, like I need to be getting content, like I need to be recording something because I need to make that episode happen. But like making sure that I have days where I'm skating, obviously not right now because I'm like injured, but like making sure that there are days that I'm skating that I'm not recording at all are so important to like my health as a skater and my love for the hobby and my investment into the community, like all of those things. Like that gets refilled whenever I'm skating without any cameras around.
I didn't advance skating wise at all last year, and literally, like, if you look at my Instagram, to be honest, I hardly posted. Like, I was kind of going through, like, I was trying to look for something, and I was like, whoa, I got there fast, like, through a whole year. And it's because I was posting, like, once a week sometimes or whatever. And that was, like, the only time I would have skated, and it was for a short time. Like, I was literally skating just to post because I was so freaking depressed about being stuck at home and having nowhere to skate. And then we got a ramp, and then I'd barely use that because I just felt like crap every time I was out there. And like, literally, like, when you're just skating to post, you're not improving because you're not spending hours and like going and skating for a long adventure. You're literally just skating to try to be like, where is it scenic? Where is it cute? Like, is everything nice in it? And then that's what it becomes about. And you forget, like, hey, you're skating because you want to, it's a practice. Like, you got to practice to be good at it, or at least like do well and push yourself.
Yeah, 100% agree with everything that you are saying. I think that that's so real. I definitely have struggled in the last couple months. So it's been 2 months now, a little over 2 months since I've skated at all. And it's been really hard for me. Like, with my Instagram, I straight up don't know what to post. Like, I'm like, oh, people aren't here for me as a person, just like me outside of skating. So, like, what can I post that's going to keep people entertained? And so I've been kind of struggling and like not really posting that much on my Instagram because I'm just like, what do I post here?
Yeah, it's like, what do you do when your whole Instagram is skate themed and then you can't skate? Your whole YouTube is skate themed, like it's all this niche, and then you can't skate. Like, how do you keep interest? People are following you because they're skaters and like they want to watch skaters. Like, it's like hard. Like, how do you deal with that pressure? Like, I know in the beginning you were like trying really hard to make interesting content still, like especially on Instagram, like reels and stuff, like more personalized things, and then you just kind of stopped and dropped off. How do you feel, and how would you recommend that other skaters that get injured but they want to make sure they still have a social media presence deal with that?
I don't know. I think it's all about being real to yourself. And like, what I came to the realization of, because in the beginning I was like, I'm just going to make reels about like how I'm taking care of myself. And then I just got so freaking depressed and like lost in myself and was like, what am I going to post on Instagram? Like, I'm not inspired in my own life. How am I supposed to create like inspirational content?
Yeah.
And for Instagram, what I would suggest is if you need to take a break, like take a break. Like, people aren't gonna, and if they do unfollow you, whatever, you don't need them following you anyways.
True that.
Like, honestly, like, me taking a break from trying to post on Instagram so much was, like, literally relieving. Like, it felt to me, I was feeling stressed by Instagram, because I was just like, what do I post? And even now, I'm just kind of like, what do I post? But now I've gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what? If I post my regular life and people don't like it and they unfollow me, okay, bye. Like, I'm still a person outside of my skating, and to be pigeonholed just into like, oh, you're just a skater, and if you post anything that's not skating, then I'm gonna unfollow you. Like, no, screw that. Like,
also,
I'm
like, we
not
always,
one-dimensional.
We always say this, or at least I always say this: if your Instagram followers cannot accept you during your Britney, they do not deserve you during your Beyonce.
So true.
So true.
Yeah, and for me with YouTube, the only way I was able to keep going with that, and even now I'm still struggling, like, what do I do for a video? Like, I literally don't know what to do for a video on Tuesday, because it's like, I can't skate. Like, I don't want to force shove to be in front of the camera again just because I need to come up with a new video for every Tuesday.
Although I like it because I'm fame hungry. I will take over the YouTube. I am bi girl straight face. Still queer, but you know.
Yeah, so with YouTube, what I did was I threw myself a little bit more into like I made 12 videos about being injured, and was just like, you know what? This is what I'm passionate about right now. And I don't care if everyone doesn't like it. It's a real part of being a skater. And so that's what I'm going to make videos about. And if you don't like it,
hey, I just have a random question.
Yeah.
And this is totally out of topic, but like I start daydreaming randomly and like leave.
Yeah.
As we talked about earlier. I just started thinking, like, do you think that like part of the struggle, like your YouTube has grown like ridiculously fast, like no matter what. But do you think it would have grown faster if you weren't pigeonholed, as you like to say a lot, as queer? Do you think it's like hard? Like, do you ever think about that? That like you're queer girl straight skates and like that a lot of people are probably like turned away because of homophobia in like the internet world? Or like, do you think that hurts you at all? Like, we've never had this discussion.
I would say that it's not the queer part, but the girl part. I think that queer girl straight skates, I think the queer part doesn't turn people off. In fact, I think that that's the reason why a lot of people follow me is because they find like a home in that. But I think that men and boys don't feel like they can watch my channel. And I do think that there are some people that feel like, oh, I'm not queer. Can I still be here? And I try and be like, yeah, it's for like queer
but not
people
that
and
many
queer
men
allies.
roller skate. Like the roller skating community is a majority female and non-binary.
Yeah, I know, but like even non-binary people, like you're not a queer girl who straight skates.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people that are open to the queer community, like nothing about like the word girl's gonna bother them, but like I'm talking about like all the people that are homophobic or have these, it's still homophobia, like have this like weird feeling about the word queer, like if they're like, oh, even though this video's trending, like I feel weird because it's queer.
Well, I don't want them watching my videos anyways.
Yeah, I know it was off topic, but I think it's something really interesting to really think about, and like that
probably
it's an empowering thing to be like, I am queer girl straights, and who cares? Because the other YouTuber that blew up, who we do not speak their name, that it's like Voldemort. I just feel like it's easier for them to blow up because it's so just like generic about roller skating.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and I always wonder. So I think it's that. What I'm basically trying to say is, I think it's something to be even more proud of that you're obvious like out queer YouTuber that skates and like a female empowered queer woman, and you're still thriving that much.
Thanks, babe.
And I just think we've never taken the time to like.
We haven't really talked about
really
that.
Like realize that like. It's not like, oh, got you. You've watched 5 episodes. Surprise, I'm gay. It's like, you're like, as soon as you go to your page and they choose, like, so when people choose to watch your video, it means not just that they're like, ooh, a cool video about how to roller skate. It's, ooh, a queer video, blah, blah, like, and they're like open. Like, I think that's pretty cool.
I definitely have thought before that, like, maybe I would have done better if I had just been like Rebel Rouser. Like if my name had just been, my YouTube name, which is what a lot of people do, is they'll just have like their name.
Yeah.
And it's, more generic or whatever, and it's personality based. But I really care about the community aspect of queer girl straight skates. Like I really, really care about that. And I do think that that's awesome that many people are like, yeah, I'm okay with queerness. I'm okay with a queer girl. Even if she has straight skates.
They're like,
like queer girls queer. And allies.
She's queer, but her skates are straight, and so am I, so I think I'm gonna stay.
I do think it is very sweet when people are like, oh, like, I'm not queer, but like, I'm still here. I'm like, that's really cute. Because, like, you definitely don't need to be queer to watch
Something really cute did happen in the Will world this week. Tell the people about the video you got.
Oh my god, I got the cutest video. So you may or may not know that I have these sweatshirts I have the red rainbow femme empowerment skate, the non-binary empowerment skate, and the transgender empowerment skate design. And I put them on sweatshirts and I started selling them recently. And someone messaged me, a mom messaged me and said, my child just came out as non-binary and I'm trying to like be really accepting and I'm trying to like sort through all the feelings that come with like realizing, that my child is non-binary and they're like trying to sort it out. And so they got my non-binary empowerment sweatshirt for them for their birthday. And so this mom sent me a video
Oh my God, I'm
of,
going to cry just see you talking about it.
their kid opening up the sweatshirt, and their kid, like, looked at it and was just like so touched by it, and then the mom was like, "Do you like it?" And the kid was like, "I love it." And then they were crying, and then they hugged each other, and you could just see the love and the acceptance in the video. And it
as
was
the mom was hugging her child, the phone is super close in her face, and you could just see the tears and like that she was like, "I'm so proud to have my child, no matter like if they're non-binary or not." Oh my God. Like, it just made me like, I'm on my period right now, so I'm super emotional. My eyes are tearing up. It was beautiful.
It was a really beautiful moment, and I'm so lucky to be a part of those moments, and like that's why I do what I do, because I want more mainstream acceptance of queer kids, you know? Like, I want people to be learning from my channel, even if it's not about roller skating, that like, hey, like your kid might come out as non-binary, and you need to accept them for the way they are, and you need to empower them to be who they are. And to know that watching my channel has allowed this mom to go through that process more gracefully, really, it hit me in the heart.
We're changing lives here in the world.
We're trying to change lives.
We're trying, man. But yeah, so like skating is rough, and so is social media, and we keep getting smushed into both, and there's pressure from being a great skater, there's pressure to post online, and they should be two separate things. And when it's combined, it's just like, that's why so many people give up on 365. It's not that they're like, oh, I can't do this, or I got tired. It's because the pressure becomes too much, and we forget why we love to skate. Mm-hmm. And social media is already like a slippery slope into addiction. Like, speaking from someone who is addicted to it, like, we just got to make sure that like we're not putting this pressure on ourselves.
Definitely. All right. That being said, let's go into Find Your Skate Date.
Woo woo. I'm so upset right now that I do not know how to do an Australian accent, because I want to do an Australian accent.
Americans kill Australian accents all the time.
No, Jess can do a really good one. Okay. She tricked my coworker into believing that she was actually from Australia.
I forgot about that. Good times.
Idiots. Okay. You know I struggle reading because I get nervous.
So we're in the Find Your Skate Date section. And with Find Your Skate Date, what we're doing is we're trying to connect skaters with other skaters around the world. So if you're interested in being featured in the Find Your Skate Date segment, you can just email us at dearskatedate@gmail.com. Send us a little bio of yourself, your pronouns, your Instagram handle, and a little picture. And we will talk about you on the podcast, and we'll feature you on our Instagram.
Guess what, babe?
What?
This is our first Find Your Skate Date that's not American.
Hell yeah!
And we have a lot of people that follow us from this country.
Okay, well, let's find them a skate date, shall we?
Let's do it. All right. Hi, I'm Beck.
I love that. That's the best part of Find Your Skate Date.
Derby name, Beckoff.
Amazing.
She, her pronouns. I live in Australia. I am looking for some friends as I am moving for a few months. I am an Australian skater that is moving to Alice Springs, NT, from South Coast, NSW. I recognize NSW because I feel like I send a lot of stickers to NSW, but I don't understand.
I don't know what it stands for.
Like the territories out there? Territories?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. We're butchering this.
I'm sorry.
But if you are from Australia, you will know what Beck Off is talking about. All right. So let me say that again. Australian skater that is moving to Alice Springs, NT, from South Coast, NSW, for the winter. Also funny because we're about to go into summer and they're going into winter.
Yeah.
Us Americans are stupid. Okay. I bought my skates 2019, but didn't pick up skating till good old Rona came along. Gotta love Rona. Not. Okay. I have tried to teach myself park skating, tried a bit of street skating, and recently took up roller derby.
Ow!
I am interested in any type of skating and making some friends. I work in outdoor recreation, whitewater rafting, Abseiling? Let me get some help.
I have no idea what that is. Abseiling? It's probably an Australian thing.
Do you have to use your abs for it?
I have no idea.
Hiking, canoeing, rock climbing, and any sort of stuff. Wow, you are active and that's awesome.
I love it.
I am an introverted extrovert. Me too. Very quiet when you first meet me, but once you get to know me, I don't shut up. Haha.
Love it.
Best way to contact me is through my skate Instagram at Roland Beck.
Roland Beck.
Oh my gosh. I've always wanted to try rock climbing, but I'm also afraid of heights, so I feel like I could get up there, but I won't be able to get down.
I now definitely want to try abseiling, whatever that is.
We're going to Google it.
Yeah, I'm super excited to find out what that is.
I feel like I butchered this whole thing and definitely felt like a ditzy blonde reading it.
You know what? You didn't sound like a ditzy blonde, but even if you did, you're wearing a blonde wig, so it's okay.
I totally felt like I knew what I was talking about.
Okay. Well, if you are Roland Beck's skate date, then hit up Roland Beck on Instagram and tell us about it. And if you want to have a skate date, then send us an email at dearskatedate@gmail.com.
dearskatedate@gmail.com. All right. What's this segment called, babe?
This segment is called Dear Shovel. And in the Dear Shovel segment, what we do is we answer your questions. So if you have questions, you can send them to us, and they could be about anything. They could literally be like, how do you do your laundry? And we'd be like, well, so whatever your question is, we will answer it, good or bad. Whatever our answer is, we can't guarantee that it will be fantastic, but we will try. We're like the new and improved Dear Abby, but it's Dear Shovel. So if you have a question, you can email us at dearskatedate.
All our young listeners are like, who's Abby? What's Dear Abby?
Yeah, well, you don't even need to know. It's just Dear Shovel now.
What's a newspaper?
And you can be anonymous, and that's totally fine. Oh my God, side note, that doesn't have anything to do with anything, but I saw a tweet the other day that someone was like, hey, what the hell is burning CDs? And I was like, oh no.
It's okay. It's like that thing I told you, like, go up to someone and then say, hey, with your hand, show me how to take a picture, and ask a bunch of people from different generations, and you will be mind blown.
Mind blown.
Because if you're watching this, I will show you. A lot of us go like this. And then if you are someone younger, you go.
One of them is
Trippy.
like taking a camera with like a digital camera or a manual camera, and the other one is with a phone.
Yeah, it's crazy. Times are changing. Anyways, let's jump on into this.
Dear Shovel.
Dear Shovel. All right, Dear Skate Date. First of all, I love you both. Aww. And I am really enjoying your podcast.
Thank you.
I have a professor. I hate professors.
Oh my God, get out of here.
I have a professor who I know is also a roller skater. Is it Rebel? And someday, imagine, that is so funny. Someday when COVID-19 is gone, I would love to hang out and skate with her. My question, mainly for Rebel since she's a prof, would you feel comfortable skating with a student, or is that kind of weird? Thanks. Sincerely, Phil from New Mexico.
Wait, is Phil the student or the professor?
Ooh, no, the student.
Okay, Phil is the student?
Yeah.
I would not feel comfortable skating with a student while they were still my student. But as soon as you are done being my student, then I would probably feel comfortable with that. It really depends on, like, who the professor is and like what their boundaries are when it comes to that. All I can tell you is definitely not cool while you're still in their class, and definitely not cool before they've submitted their grades, because it puts them in a very uncomfortable position.
I was kind of mind blown to see the relationship between professors and students when we started dating and like going to parties and stuff, and seeing how like a lot of, not people that are like in your class per se, but like in speech and debate together, or like we were in your class but not anymore, and then being able to like drink and play games together. And I was like, this is weird, isn't it? Like students versus like professors. But then it's just like, hey, if they don't have control of your grade, it's different now.
Yeah, I mean, one thing to take into consideration is an age difference. Like, definitely keep that into consideration.
But not all professors are, like, super older than a lot of
Definitely
students.
not. Like, when I first started teaching, I was 24.
Yeah, see? And then if you have a student that's 21, 22.
Yeah, and so I think that it is about... one, knowing that you're no longer actually their professor. I would say that after my students are done being my students, I'm absolutely fine with them finding me on the internet. I'm absolutely fine with them having conversations with me about things that have nothing to do with classes.
Can we talk about what you do on the last day of class?
Oh, well, on the last day of class, I let them know what my, like, handle is and, like, all my stuff
semester, because, like, you know, COVID, so she's teaching from here, and I'll be, like, literally sitting there, like, I'm taking a free course. But like, she'll, like, allude to, like, a YouTube podcast, or, like, doesn't say, like, I'm Instagram famous, but we'll, like, talk about roller skating, like, oh, I roller skate, blah, 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 and just, like, casually throws it out there. And I feel like people get, like, I feel like... you might be someone sort of famous. I bet that's the vibe. Like, people are probably like, what is this person up to? Because Rebel looks professional, but also very stylish. And it's just not your average, like, professor looking like...
I definitely get told that I don't look like the average professor a lot.
So, like, if I was your student, I'd be like, something's going on here. I need to know more details. So, you know, and they'll, like, randomly, casually be like, what's your Instagram or what's your YouTube? And Rebel's like, no. But on the last day of class, she always is like, all right, here's my other name that you can Google and find all my things.
Yeah, because the thing is that all of them have my government name. So they don't actually have my Rebel Rouser, that name. So if they Google my government name, they'll find a YouTube and they will find an Instagram. And that is not my main stuff. Like, that's just like a random thing I have.
Yeah, and your professor, like, it's going to be this interesting dynamic because, like, they probably will be, like, down too. It's a person by person basis, of course, but, like, it's an interesting, like, dynamic that you don't want to interrupt because, like, I know, I can't remember, I think it was, like, at another campus you used to work at, there was a skater that, like, knew a skater that you skated with before or something. There was, like, a weird, like, you're 1 degree away or 2 degrees away from me, and so you were, like, nervous, like, do you know who I am? And if you do, don't tell anyone.
Yeah, it's really weird. And it's weird when people find out who I am or, like, start talking to me again, and then they take my class again, and I'm like, oh no, is this gonna be a weird thing?
Yeah, because you gotta keep it professional, you know? And it's, like, hard, like, it's just like in work, like, depending on where you work, like, your boss can't really, like, hang out and do the same things with you because then you have to worry about nepotism and like, all kind of fairness. Like, other people will be like, oh, I saw you roller skating and that's why you got a better grade than I got. And then it becomes this whole thing, and then his word or their word versus your word, like, you don't know.
Yeah, and I will say also, it's definitely different when you are a coach for someone versus a teacher. Like, I have my speech and debate students that I am a coach for, and our relationship is totally different.
Oh my God,
than the students that I am teaching and just, like, their professor.
Yeah, Rebel scared me a couple times because she'll be like, blah, 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 my student. And I'm like, your student? That seems really unprofessional. Like, I'm like, what? Like, I'm worried for you. Like, do I need to have an intervention? And she's like, no, like, my coach, well, I'm coaching, like, my speech kid. And then I'm like, oh, okay, totally different. Totally different.
Such a different dynamic. Like, I've gotten, like, speech kids roller skates before. Like, I have gotten, I had some of the speech kids help me move. Like, literally, like, it's a very different dynamic. And so I would wait. I would email them once everything is done, because I think, like, an email is a very professional way to reach out to someone and they won't feel weird, like, obligated, but maybe they will be open to it and they can reach out to you again. So, yeah. I mean, I say shoot your shot, but wait until grades are submitted. And remember that grades aren't due usually, depending on the semester, until a few weeks after the semester is over. So don't just, like, last day of class and then email them.
Yeah, and if they don't respond or they say no, just remember that boundaries are important. Don't take it personally. And it's a weird thing where a boundary has to be there between someone in power and someone that's not.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, don't feel like, oh man, they didn't want to skate with me, even though I waited till after. Like, they could just feel like, hey, I still don't want to have those lines blurred. So don't feel bad if they end up saying no. But we hope you do end up with a new skate friend.
Yeah, definitely. And if not, there are lots of people who are skaters in New Mexico, so you should just send in a find your skate date.
Yeah.
All right, so next we are going to talk about 5 stars. Okay, thank you so much for giving us 5 stars, Xena Fresh, a.k.a. Lay. You can hear, see, and feel the amazing energy they give to this podcast. Also, the love that is taken into each segment is most definitely felt. I've learned so much, and I've officially have the theme song stuck in my head. I love y'all so dang much. XOXO. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Xena Fresh, a.k.a. Lay.
Thank you.
We love it when you give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. It shows us that you love us, that you really love us. And it makes us feel special, and it helps to, like, give iTunes a little nudge, nudge, hint, hint, wink, wink that, like, they should send our podcast to other people and show it to many, many people.
Mm-hmm.
And how?
I was about to say that.
I know. I was trying to steal your line.
Always. And how?
So thank you so much, Xena, and I hope that all of you had a fun skate date.
Yeah, we had a real date earlier.
And it was
bomb.com.
and now we're going to make some popcorn and watch some movies.
Whoop, whoop.
Woo!
See you next week on our hot, steamy date on a Wednesday.
Okay.